checklist. So on the front of that is the graduation checklist, and on the back are all of the programs of study that we offer at the high school. And then the peach colored sheet that you have, those are all of the courses that are offered to you for next year. Okay. So there are quite a few course offerings. You do not have to take something from every single section. Just know that all of these courses are available for you to take next year. So your counselors will be over here March 6th and 7th to do individual registration meetings. When you get over to the high school, you are split up by the last name range. So Dr. Jones has the last names A through G. Ms. Shivel has the last names H through O, and Ms. Cody has the last names P through Z. So these are your counselors. You will be with them for the next 3 years. Additional registration personnel that you need to be aware of. Mr. Creek is our curriculum and instructional coordinator. He's with us today as well. He also does all of the scheduling as far as classes and our master schedule. He also is in charge of all of our testing as well. For registration in particular, he will approve any rigorous course applications. Mr. Skipper is with us today as well. He is our career and technical education coordinator. Any of our career and technical education programs he is in charge of. I'm Dr. Carney, and I am in charge of dual enrollment and early graduates. We also have a special services office. You may register with these ladies. Miss Hoover and Miss Holbrook are the consulting teachers if you're part of special services. Miss Daniels is their administrative assistant. Okay, so graduation requirements. The big picture of graduation requirements, if you will look at that graduation checklist, Coffee County Central High School requires you to have 23 credits for graduation. We also require that you take the ACT. That's also a state requirement. It's also a state requirement that you take the civics exam. That's usually done your senior year. The ACT is generally done your junior year. So you have to have 23 credits to graduate. Take the ACT your junior year. Take the civics exam your senior year. The civics exam is just a general social studies knowledge test, and you usually do that through homerooms. The ACT is given to juniors on a school day. We're gearing up for that right now. So when we talk about credits, how do you earn a credit in high school? Anybody know?
You pass a class?
You have to pass the class. So when we are talking about graduation credits, know that you have to pass the course to earn the credit. If you continually fail your courses, you will not earn 23 credits and you will not graduate on time. I had a question with the last group, and he said, well, what if you don't have 23 credits your last semester of high school? That's it. You don't come back. We do not have fifth year seniors. So you have to earn 23 credits in order to graduate. You have to pass your courses to earn those credits. You have 26 chances to earn those 23 courses, or those 23 credits. Now, when we talk about those 23 credits, you can't just take 23 classes of PE and graduate high school. It doesn't work like that. So, you have to have 23 of the right credits in order to graduate. So you have to have 4 English credits, you have to have 4 math credits, and the state of Tennessee says that you have to be enrolled in a math every single year that you were in high school. So even if you took math as an 8th grader, you will still take math as a senior, because the state of Tennessee requires you to be in a math every single year. So some of you will end up with 5 credits of math. You must take 3 science classes. You must have those 3 science credits. You have to have a lab science, and there are quite a few options for that. Everybody must have biology, and then everyone must have chemistry or physics. You have to have 2 foreign language credits, and they must be the same foreign language. So if you can't take Spanish 1 and French 1. You have to take the same foreign language. I do want to talk about foreign language for a minute. If you are a student who is planning on going to a career in technical education after high school, and you are interested in doing some additional career and technical education courses while you're in high school, you may have the option to sign the foreign language waiver and opt out of foreign language and take some additional career and technical education courses if that is of an interest to you. There are qualifiers that you have to meet, but that is a question you need to ask your counselors when you do your individual registration. But just know that that is possible. So if you are not interested in taking a foreign language, you're going down a career path or a technical path, and you want to use those 2 class periods to take some more of those courses, then that's an option. If you are a native speaker in French or Spanish, you can test out a foreign language. So if you are a native speaker and you are literate and fluent in Spanish or French, you can test out of that foreign language. You still receive the credit for those classes, even though you would test out. And you can use those 2 class periods on something else, okay? If you are a native speaker and you are interested in testing out, we have a sheet over here on the table. Make sure you sign that before you leave today. If you're interested in testing out, we will do that in several weeks. Okay, so other graduation requirements. You also have to have 1.5 credits of wellness and health, or ROTC 1 and 2. You have to have 1 fine art credit, a half a credit of personal finance, 3 courses in your program of study, and 1 elective credit. Now, when we talk about elective credits, any class that you take at Raider Academy or at the high school can count as an elective. Any class that you take, that you pass, that you earn the credit can count as an elective. However, there are also classes that can count in multiple places. So if you took psychology, sociology this year, it can count as your elective. It can also count as a program of study course if your program of study is a humanities. We do have specific courses that can only count as an elective. So for instance, driver's ed, it doesn't count as any program of study course. And it doesn't count for any sort of graduation requirement. It can only count as an elective. ACT prep is the exact same way. But we have a lot of people who take ACT prep, but just know that it's only gonna count as an elective. Okay, so let's look at your checklist in depth a little bit more. So you can actually plan out your next 3 years on this checklist. In the blanks, you can write down which grade level you're going to take that class, and you can plan out your next 4 years of high school and figure out exactly what you're going to take every single year. and have kind of an idea of what classes you want to take, which years, so that you know exactly what you want to sign up for. What we want you to be aware of. There are around 1,300 students for the 3 counselors that I mentioned earlier. They have to go through by hand and check your transcripts and your graduation checklist. Okay, we don't have any sort of program that calculates all of that, right? So we want you to be very informed about the courses that you have to have and what meets your graduation requirements. So you will notice on your checklist that there are options, substitutions, certain classes can count for other classes, and we just talked about some of those. And they are not all listed on your graduation checklist, but there are quite a few. So, for instance, on your checklist, that upper level math, there are several options for that 4th year math. If you take physics as a senior, it can count as a math and as a science. Okay. Health science is a class that we offer. It does not count as a science that you need for a graduation requirement. It counts as a program of study course. Culinary arts is also one that sometimes gets confused. That is a cooking course for your program of study. That does not count as a fine art. So we ask that you pay attention, that you're responsible, and that you are accountable for the classes that you are choosing, and that you are making sure that what you are choosing is going to count for your graduation requirements and work in the ways that you need it to. If you are unsure, ask your counselor. If they have not gotten back to you in a timely manner, ask Mr. Creek, ask me. If it's career and technical education, ask Mr. Skipper. But make sure that you are making informed decisions about your classes, okay? There are some other substitutions, and there's some additional information on the lower right-hand corner about ROTC 1, 2, and 3, and just some other substitutions that can happen with some of your classes. So just know that the important things are that you are passing your classes to earn your credits, and that you are taking the right classes to meet your graduation requirements, okay? Those are the 2 things that you've got to be concerned about first, and then you can kind of design the rest of your schedule around that. So, once again, this is something that we've just talked about. Make sure that you check if the courses that you are taking are meeting your graduation requirements. Okay. There are lots of fine art options. There are multiple options for U.S. government and economics that fit into that graduation requirement. Just make informed decisions, ask questions. Anatomy and physiology is another one of those classes that we offer. It counts as a lab science, it can count as a program of study. So there are lots of substitutions and double dippings. Just make sure that you know what you're choosing. Okay, so new courses for next year. These aren't going to apply to you just yet, at least not all of them. But you do need to be aware of them so that you can plan your schedule out next year so that you can participate in several of these programs your junior year. Okay? So AP Pre-Calculus is something we're adding next year, World Geography and Ancient History. We are adding 3 dual enrollment programs next year. That's Building Construction, Industrial Maintenance and Technology, and Cosmetology next year. So rigorous courses. Rigorous courses are anything that are honors course or above. So it's honors, AP, CLEP, dual enrollment, and state dual credit. If you are interested in any of those courses, that's where you can earn college credit, take college classes, or you can earn hours for a career and technical program while you're still in high school. You must meet the GPA requirement and the attendance requirement. If you do not meet those requirements and you want to appeal that process, you have to do it with Mr. Creek directly. Okay, so the next two slides are senior-only programs. We want you guys to be aware of them for the same reason that we wanted to tell you about the dual enrollment thing, so that you can plan your next 3 years accordingly, so that if you want to participate in those programs, you've got the time in your schedule to do that. So work-based learning, you can leave at either 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon and go to work. You can leave school, leave campus, and go to work. This is for seniors only. You have to be on track to graduate. So if you have failed a bunch of courses, you are not eligible for this program. There is an attendance requirement, there is a behavior requirement, and you must maintain your attendance, your behavior, and your grades throughout senior year. But if you don't handle your academic business prior to this, you will not be accepted into the program. And then as you are in the program, you've got to make sure that you maintain those. Faculty and office aides, once again, this is seniors only. But if you have planned out your high school courses, maybe you only need 3 classes your senior year, you could be a teacher's aide or an office aide, as long as you meet the attendance and the behavior requirements and the grade requirements, and have 1 less class that you're responsible for doing any homework. You do run some errands for teachers or offices, but we have lots of students who do this instead of taking 7 full classes. They are a teacher's aide or an office aide. Early post-secondary opportunities, this is gonna be the bulk of what we talk about. So when you are thinking about your next 3 years of high school and what you want to accomplish and what you wanna get out of it. Number 1, you wanna graduate in 4 years. But number 2, what else do you wanna do? So do you wanna be really involved in several clubs? And that's gonna require you to take several different career and technical education courses. Do you want to get started on college credit? And you need to pick those classes. Do you want to earn some industry certification so that you can start using those as a high school student? Do you want to go ahead and start on hours for a technical education program so that instead of spending 2 years after high school graduation, you spend a 1.5 years finishing your certification? All of those things are options that we have, that you need to decide what you want to accomplish in the next 3 years. So, like I said, we offer these 5 early post-secondary opportunities, and you're gonna see a reoccurrence of a certain format. So some of these are courses and assessments at the end of the course. Some of them are just assessments at the end of courses. Some are just classes that you can take, and as long as you pass, you have earned the additional credit. So let's talk about those. So industry certification is a class and an assessment. The fees range from $10 to upwards to $300 for these assessments. If you have done the OSHA 10 this year, that's an assessment that you already have. You can go ahead, you can put it on your resume, you can put it on a job application. Any of these assessments, once you pass, you can use them as a high school student or as a recent high school graduate, when you get to that point. These are all recognized statewide, some are nationally recognized. These are all of our industry certifications. I would say that our most notable is the CNA, the Certified Nursing Assistant. We have seniors that are in that program every year, and they are certified nursing assistants once they take the assessment at the end of the year. We have multiple students that test on Microsoft Office, and they are Microsoft Office specialists in Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. And then we also have a large group of students that do the Safe Serve, Food Manager, and Food Handler, if you're looking into culinary arts for your future. So all of these are offered at the high school. They are all tied to courses that we offer. So you take the course, you take the assessment. If you take the assessment and you pay for it and you pass it, Mr. Skipper is very good about paying you back for half. Okay, so that doesn't, you'll be responsible for the front end, but if you pass the assessment, he will kick in the other half. Okay, so local dual credit, we partner with Motlow State Community College to do this. This is a course and an exam. The exam fees are anywhere from $10 to $25. You take the course, sign up for the exam, you take the exam, you pass the exam, you earn college credit. This score stays with Motlow State Community College unless you transfer it out to any other public college or institution. But Motlow is the one who awards the credit. And the courses that we offer are down below, and there are multiple of those. This is only a state program. Statewide dual credit, it's the same format. So it's a course and the exam. The most notable difference is that there are no fees for statewide dual credit. The exam is free. And it's a state program, so any public college or university will accept those state dual credit scores as long as you pass the exam. The most common state dual credit course that we offer is American History. It's our lowest level of American History that we offer, in addition to dual enrollment and advanced placement. So at some point you will take a state dual credit course if you do not take any of our other higher rigorous courses. Everybody has to take the state dual credit American History unless you take a higher level. College level exam program. This is just an exam that you could take. You could sign up and take one today if you wanted to. We do recommend that you take the course that we have tied to it. This is a national program. This is nationally recognized. Most public colleges and universities will take ECLEP scores as long as you pass the exam. The exam is $87. Students are responsible for half. And the bottom three, you just have to pass. The language exams, the higher you score, the more classes you can test out of. So they are scored on a scale, so if you score high enough, you will actually test out of 2 college level courses. But that's a national program. Dual enrollment. So we have 3 dual enrollment partnerships. We have Tennessee College of Applied Technology, we have Motlow State Community College, and we have the University of Tennessee at Martin. All of those are our dual enrollment partnerships. You, as a dual enrollment student, you are enrolled with Coffee County Central High School, and then whatever school partner that we have. So you are a student in both places. Know that as a Tennessee high school student, you have all of your fees covered as far as tuition. So you can take 5 college classes for free, or you can begin your technical school hours for free as a Tennessee high school student. That's all covered by your dual enrollment grant as a Tennessee high school student. So the only fees that you are responsible for are maybe a book and a lab fee. And that's only if that course requires it. So Motlow State Community College is who we partner with for most general education college courses. We offer online and in-house courses. Everything that we offer online is at the bottom left. And everything that we offer in-house is on the bottom right. So that's English Comp 1, English Comp 2, US History 1, and US History 2. The biggest thing that you're gonna see about dual enrollment with Motlow or University of Tennessee at Martin is they are semester-only classes. So they're only a half a year. It's a full credit. So if you take English Comp 1 and 2 as a junior, you are done with English. You're not taking English your senior year. The same thing with US History. If you take US History the fall of your junior year, you are done at Christmas, and that meets your graduation requirement for US History. Okay? So if you're trying to, you want to be involved in a lot of clubs, and you know that you're short on time as far as your class scheduling goes, and you're willing to push yourself academically, this could be a good option for you. Our other dual enrollment partner is the University of Tennessee at Martin. This is Introduction to Horse Science and Intro to Animal Science, if those are appealing to you. Anything from Motlow or UT Martin can transfer to any public college or university. And that's not just within the state, that's most within the region. Dual enrollment, TCAT. So we added welding 1 and 2 last year. We are adding industrial maintenance, building construction, and cosmetology this year. The reason that you guys need to know about that is if you are interested in any of these programs, make sure that you take the career and technical education course so that you can get into these programs your junior year, okay? So if you're interested in the welding, take welding 1 next year. The industrial maintenance and the building construction, there's several career and technical education courses that can lead into that, but you can't just jump into dual enrollment cosmetology your junior year if you've never had a cosmetology class, okay? So if you're looking at these programs for your junior year, make sure that you look at those career and technical education courses for next year. Okay, so we've got one more program, and then I'm gonna turn this over to Mr. Creek. So we have advanced placement. You are eligible for advanced placement as a sophomore. It is a year-long course, and then you can take the exam at the end of the course. You can just take the exam without taking the course, but we highly recommend that you take the course. The exam fee is $100. Students are responsible for half. There's a free and reduced lunch discount. As long as you have a 3 or higher, most public colleges and universities accept advanced placement. So it's just another way that you can get college credit. Our most utilized advanced placement course is AP Psychology. This is the most utilized by sophomores. For those of you who are looking at higher rigorous courses as sophomores. We offer everything at the bottom, but not all of these classes make every year. We don't always have enough students to offer them in-house. Because of that, we also have AP access for all. So the biggest difference with this is that it is completely online. You do not have a live instructor, but there are no exam fees, there's no course fees. It is a program with the state of Tennessee, and it can be a year-long course or a semester course, depending on what you're taking and when you begin it. And it's the same format as far as the college credit, a 3 or higher. Most public colleges or universities take the advanced placement. The other thing is that if we don't have enough students to offer an AP course live, like in-house with an instructor, but you still want to take the AP course, we offer all of those at the bottom so that you can take those. So another thing about advanced placement, AP access for all, and dual enrollment online with Montlow or UT Martin. Any of those online courses, you can do that during your school day in one of your 7 periods, or you can also do it in addition to your 7 classes at the high school. So I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Creek for a minute, and he's going to speak to you.
All right, this is a lot of information to try to retain. I'm going to touch over a few highlights, and then at the end of the presentation, we'll give you guys an opportunity to ask some questions as a group, and then individually if needed. So, first off, Coach Vaughn mentioned earlier today that you guys had at some point ran through a process to assure that each of you guys had student view accounts created. Y'all did that maybe earlier this year. During the summer, as we get towards the end of the summer, so mid-July, late July, I'll send emails out to all students letting you all know that schedules are ready and they've been released. In order for you to view those schedules, you have to have student view, and that's where you'll go to pull up your student schedule. In that same email, I'll review the process for requesting schedule changes. It's very simple. It's a Google form that you guys will fill out, submit, and then all those changes, I'll go through and get those completed in the order they've been submitted. Okay? So very important that you guys, one, check your emails. If you don't do that very frequently now, start doing it, because as you get into your sophomore through senior years, there'll be a lot of emails, a lot of information shared through email. For myself, Mr. Skipper will send some, Dr. Carney, your future principal, Mr. Parsha, will send out several. So make sure you check your emails, download the Gmail app on your phones that you're on all the time, and sync up your school Gmail and check it that way. Okay? Check emails, make sure you have student view. Registration for you all starts March the 6th, which is just a couple weeks from now. It's on Monday, and this will be March the 6th, March the 7th. Miss Judkins, she'll create a schedule as to how that will look. Will you guys go through English or social studies, one of those 2 classes, is my assumption. It's best that you have that course request sheet in front of you, the peach one. Have it kind of prepared as to what you're thinking about taking. If you have questions, write those down. Then when you meet with your counselor, that's who you need to ask those questions, okay? So be prepared going into that meeting, whether it's on the 6th or the 7th. Have your questions and have your courses laid out. On the course request sheet, on the back, there is a place for alternates or alternative selections. You need to fill out at least 3 of those. It says it at the top of the first page that you need to fill out at least 3. Those are alternates for something other than a core class. So if you sign up for Algebra 2 honors or Geometry honors, don't put the backup as Geometry. You're going to get your math class, you'll get your English class, you'll get biology. Those are a given. The backups are for, like, if you want culinary, or if you want marketing, if you want machining, or welding, I'm sorry. Those classes fill up quickly, those 3 right there. And so you need to have backups in the event that's what you selected and the computer didn't put you in those classes. Okay? The computer, I hit the scheduler, and we start with sophomores first, so you guys get first dibs on schedules. And so I hit that, and the computer picks the students that go into all the classes, the ones that fill up the quickest, which is marketing, welding, cosmetology, and culinary. If you pick that and it get put in that class, that's where the backup comes into play. If you don't have the backups listed, then you're just gonna get put in a class. And then you're gonna want out of it, and I'll be honest with you, if you didn't follow through on your part, I'm not gonna be too eager to help you out and get it taken care of too quickly, okay? Because I'll have a copy of all these, and I'll look to see, did that person fill out the alternates? If she did not, I'll probably go and take care of somebody who followed the directions, okay? I'll take care of them first. So make sure you select your alternates. As rising sophomores, you have a math, which the progression, remember, is Algebra 1, Geometry, and then Algebra 2. So every year, I have sophomores go and pick Algebra 2 because they had Algebra 1 this year. And it's Algebra 1, Geometry, then Algebra 2, okay? So if there's a small subset of students who have algebra or have geometry right now, they'll take Algebra 2 next year, okay? So you get your math, you get English 2, and then you'll have biology. You don't have to have biology as a sophomore, but most every sophomore has biology. So we have 7 periods at the high school, that leaves 4 empty periods for you to pick from. If you play football, softball, volleyball, basketball, or baseball, your 7th period will be that sport. But you, for the most part, you all have 4 periods to pick from. So you have several courses on that course request sheet. Your next year as a junior, you'll have even more, and then your senior year, you'll have even more than that, okay? So I say that because if you enjoy culinary, but you also like welding, I think welding would be of interest, you're going to have the opportunities to try multiple programs next year as a sophomore. And I would encourage you to do what you enjoy and not what your buddies do or what your girlfriend does or your boyfriend does, because those will change, okay? Stay true to your interest. If you don't like it at the end of your sophomore year, then you can follow one of the programs that you tried and then go try something different, okay? Assuming that you pass your classes, you will have flexibility in your schedules moving forward. You have 6 periods as a freshman, 7 periods times 3 as sophomores through seniors. So that's 27 periods or 27 credit opportunities to get the 23 that Dr. Carney showed a little while ago, okay? So if you pass your classes, you will have flexibility in your schedules moving forward, especially if you take dual enrollment courses, because those are, with the exception of the CTE ones, those are a credit for a semester worth of work. So some of the courses on your course request sheet, in parentheses, will say INSTR approval. So journalism, yearbook, show choir, women's chorale, of course any of the sports we offer, you have to be approved or have made the team or have earned a spot on women's chorale, for example, or show choir because you tried out. You can sign up for that, and then the teacher or the coach will send me a list of the students who are approved. And then if you signed up and were not approved, then that's where your alternate comes into play. Okay? So just note some courses have that listed, and so you'll have an application process for that or a tryout in some classes. The foreign language waivers, Dr. Carney touched on that as well. If we have any native speakers, we do give, and for the most part, that's going to be Spanish. I don't know if we have any French native speakers, although it's possible. But if you are a native speaker of Spanish, you can put your name over here on a form, and you all can basically test out at Spanish 1 and 2, or either or, which would basically free up 2 periods, 2 years worth of the foreign language, and allows you to go down and take maybe multiple CTE programs or just take other courses that you're interested in. Gives you a little more flexibility, because if you are already fluent, taking Spanish 1 is not going to be to your advantage, okay? You'd probably be fairly bored. On the course request sheets, just make sure at the top, and I know, I'm pretty sure Dr. Carney touched on this as well. These are all starting to run together a little bit, these presentations. Make sure the name at the top is legible. It means somebody can read it other than you. And then put your legal name. Your legal name that is in Synergy. Don't put your nickname, don't put what you, what you go by. We need your legal name, because that's what, when I look up the schedule, or what, to finish the schedule, I need to be able to look up, and be able to read, and then also look up my first and last name. So I talked about the math progression, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. That's an error that I see for rising sophomores. The other issue that I see for rising sophomores is that you guys, you take math, you've taken English, you've taken science, and you've taken a social studies class virtually every year of your academic career. Your sophomore year, you will not have to take a history class. If you notice, the core classes are on the left, and they're kind of boxed in a little bit with a little bit darker bold or darker border. There's only two options for history: AP European History and AP Human Geography online. You don't have to take a history class. Okay, you've taken one this year that checks off a graduation requirement. Your junior year, you don't have to, but typically students take either AP U.S. History, dual enrollment U.S. History, or state dual credit U.S. History. And then their senior year is typically economics and government. And there are substitutions that could also factor in there, but just know next year, or for your courses you're selecting now, you don't have to pick a history. If you want to take AP European History, that's great, but just know that's one course that you don't have to take your sophomore year. Mr. Skipper, do you have anything you want to touch on real quick?
Yeah, just real quick, every one of you, starting in 6th grade, received a Major Clarity account, right? Y'all did Major Clarity stuff. Go back into that. That's gonna be active forever for y'all, right? Go back in there, redo the assessment, or look at, if y'all been active in there, remember on the side over there, it lines up all of your interests based off answers that you do. Use that as an educated way to determine the programs of study that you want to get involved in, the courses you want to take, right? At the end of all this, when you graduate and get a job, you're going to be more successful if you're working in an area that you enjoy, right? Where I say, I get to go to work tomorrow, not I got to go to work, right? It's a whole total difference, right? We talked about that. So use that. Also, there will be a course description document shared. Every course that's on the sheet that's offered, there's a description of what it entails, right? Use that sheet if you're not sure. It also has requirements, prerequisite requirements on that sheet. Look at it. Educate yourself, and like he said, take a course that you're going to enjoy, not your buddy or your girlfriend. You're going to be, this is your program, right? Be successful in it. So do something that you're going to enjoy, and then you're not taking a whole bunch of schedule changes trying to figure out what you like, right? It's set up now to where each of you can have multiple programs of study, right? Ultimately, we want you to go as deep as you can in what you really want to get involved in. So if you think you're going to be welding, we want you taking the dual enrollment welding, because you're going to come out of that, and maybe instead of a year and a half getting your welding certificate or license, it'll take you 6 months, because you're going to be building credits. And you'll walk out of there, graduate 6 months, making $35 to $40 an hour. That's where we want you to get to, right? All right? So be in control of your future. All right?
A couple other things. So the CTE courses, which are all on the right side of your course request sheet, if you notice, they have either a Roman numeral in the title or a Roman numeral in parentheses. That tells you basically the level. I think there are 3 or 4 CTE courses here to get you started at level 1, and then you come to the high school and we have many more level 1 courses, in addition to the level 2 courses that some of you will take if you took a level 1 here at Raider Academy. So that's what the Roman numerals are there for, the progression that you'll take these classes. In some cases, you may be able to take multiple in a year, but it's very rare, but your counselors will have all that information for you, but just know that's what those Roman numerals are for. And then Mr. Skipper mentioned, kind of alluded to this a minute ago, this presentation is being videoed also. The papers you have in your hand, the course descriptions, which describes the courses that are offered at the high school, We also have some promotional videos that some of the teachers created of about their courses. I know finance created some, the AV program that we have created some. We have a Bible class at the high school, it's a semester course. There was a video created about it. So I will share all that in a folder, maybe Friday or Monday, or sorry, not Monday, Friday or Tuesday of next week. And so take a look at that. It has pretty much everything that you need to help decide what you want to do next year, and then really plan out your junior and senior year as well. So it has everything in there that you will need, and we'll do a similar presentation next year at this same time, and you'll be sophomores going into junior year, and a lot of this will make much more sense at that point in time.
You talked about alternates. The other thing that I want to make sure that you're aware of is out next to courses that are only a semester. If you choose one semester course, you need to choose another semester course, right? So you should at least have 7 courses chosen, but if you are choosing semester courses, you will have more, obviously, because you need 2 to fill that slot in your schedule. So make sure that you are paying attention to that as well. So maybe this year you took both of your physical activities, your PEs, and you only need health next year, which is only a semester course, but you need something to back up to that. So make sure that you're paying attention to how long these courses are, so that you've got a full schedule when you meet with your counselor.
All right, does anybody have any questions